Hi guys, this is Stormmouse03. Welcome to my Dishonored 2 walkthrough for the Achievements and Trophies Shadow, Clean Hands, and Flesh and Steel. This is mission number 8, the Grand Palace. So before we actually get to the Grand Palace, we have to go through the streets of Karnaca once again. And there's a couple of tricky spots here, so getting to the palace is certainly not going to be easy. I think, actually, once we're in the palace, it might be a little less difficult, honestly, but we will get there. So I'm just heading along the streets here, looking for people, making sure I don't see anybody. And I don't think that there is anybody right here at the beginning. It's interesting because there are certain areas and certain people who don't care about you, like this beggar right here. And I'm going to give him some money because, you know, I have money to spare. But there's no real point to that. Sometimes these beggars give you like clues about certain things, about how to get to little caches or how to open certain doors or different paths and stuff. And so they can sometimes be useful, but we don't need his information. And so, yeah, it's interesting that the areas where people can see you and get alerted and stuff like that aren't always 100% clear on this level, because there are certain parts where getting spotted and whatnot isn't a huge deal. Or certain people who see you where getting spotted isn't a huge deal, but there's a door right there we're going to try to head through. But first, we need to get a code for it. And so we're going to come over here, we're going to steal this money because it's sitting there waiting to be stolen. And so these two guys don't care about you at all, but there are guards that are patrolling around farther up in the level that do care about you, so do be careful once you pass those two guys. We're going to head into this shop, and there are a few people in here that can see you, so you just want to be a little bit careful as you're walking around in here. Sometimes a guard will patrol in this building, so you want to look out for him. And the code for that door is going to be in this area. So I believe it's on this piece of paper sitting right here. Yep, gate code. And that, again, that's going to be a unique code. It's in blue down there. And so the code for my gate is not going to be the same as the code for your gate, but it should be there. And so, again, you just want to be careful getting out of here, because sometimes the guards do patrol into this building. There is a guard, but we are going to be able to just sneak around behind him. You could knock him out if you really wanted to, or if he was patrolling and kind of got in your way. So at this point, we're going to enter this gate code and be able to move on through the rest of this little level here. And again, guys, this level is very non-linear, and so you don't necessarily have to go exactly the same way that I do. This is just a way that I found to be consistent. And, not using powers does limit your path choices, because if I had far reach or blink, I could just blink around these gates and stuff. You don't have to necessarily get the codes and go through. You can often find a lot of alternate routes. And so I think that makes it very fun. I did like this challenge of going through the game without getting spotted and without killing anybody and not using any abilities. But it certainly does limit you in ways that I could see people not enjoying. And so, think about that and plan your runs accordingly. There's no requirement that you have to do these 3 achievements or trophies together. And so if you will have more fun by using abilities on this level or on any of the levels, then do your Shadow and Clean Hands playthrough with abilities, and then do your Flesh and Steel playthrough with high chaos, going in murdering people or whatnot. Or do like 4 or 5 playthroughs. I mean, the game is good, so shouldn't be too much of a terror to have to replay. So we're going to come over here through this building. And now the thing that we're trying to do here is get through a wall of light, which was, I think, the most irritating part of the first part of this level, because there were a bunch of guards. The wall of light was not easily switched off. I went up to the roof at one point and tried to turn off the windmill that is powering the Gate of Light, and just couldn't seem to reach it without abilities. And so I decided on this alternate route here. So came up through that building, jumped down onto that little guard post thing, and then crouch over here beside the spotlight. And then we're going to wait for the guard that's patrolling down here to walk across, and then pretty quickly you need to, get on him as soon as he moves out of your line of sight, or you're out of his line of sight, and knock him out. Otherwise, the guard over there to the right around the corner will see you. And so then I used the rewire tool in the little switch box thing. And then you just want to peek out around that corner, make sure that guy who is patrolling is turned around, and then you can walk through here and go through the door. If you start to get spotted at all, I would recommend reloading a checkpoint there, because you don't want anybody to go through the wall of light, accidentally after you've walked through and continued on with the level. And so there I am, just checking my stats again, making sure that I was cool to move on with the rest of the level. I don't think that there was any danger of anybody seeing me or following me there, but it helps to just check and make sure. And then we're going to get in this carriage and head on to the actual palace section. Like I said, that first part going through the city is not super easy. And if you don't have a rewire tool, you can go to the black market shop. It is right across from where the musicians are playing. where you saw me drop down after we went through the gate, that's where the shop is. And so if you need to purchase any upgrades or anything, or if you need to buy a rewire tool to be able to get through that gate, then that is where you go. But now we are at the palace, and there are a lot of guards around here, and so I'm going to show you a path that hopefully is going to keep you out of the line of sight of the majority of guards, but you just want to be careful. There's a dude right here. We're going to wait for him to turn, and then we can move up this waterfall and around to the left. And now there are also like guests at the palace, and you also want to avoid them. You don't want them to see you either, because a lot of times they'll get twitchy and start calling for guards and things, and it's just no good. So like, those people are guests at this party, but you still don't want to mess with them. Another thing that I will mention, I will recommend having sleep darts here. And so if you don't have sleep darts at the beginning of this, I think there are a couple spots where you can pick them up in this level, but I don't know that we're going to be going to any of those sections. So I would recommend being full up on your sleep darts. And so if you need to make a trip to that black market vendor at the beginning, you should definitely do so to make sure that you're full on those, because they can really just save you from some frustration if you're having a problem with a particular guard or something who is not cooperating in terms of their pattern. And so I couldn't quite decide what I wanted to do here. You have some options. There's this palace is big and very non-linear, and so I am making sure that these guests are not going to see me. You can also just stay down on the rocks. You didn't really need to come up here. That was just me trying some different ways. So you could have stayed down on the rocks there. You didn't need to go up through that section. I think you can also swim in the water around here. So pick what you want to do according to, what works best for you. Okay, I'm going to remove that whale oil container. And that disables, I think, one of those machines one of the pylons that will kill you. I believe that's what that disables. And then you clearly can't jump up onto that from there. Even though I tried valiantly. And so now we are in the garden section. I also tried to see if you could get up on top of the little roof slats there, but I couldn't make it work. And so I figured, if it's going to be finicky and inconsistent, even if you can't get up there, that's not something that I wanted to show. So we will move on here and just be careful of this one guard who is patrolling about. He will have a pattern where he will walk over closer to where I was standing right there. And so there he comes. And if you just kind of wait around the corner, you can take him out once he turns around. So hello, buddy. You can turn your back now. There you go. I do like the feature of being able to like drag them back and then hitting the button to carry them as soon as you've knocked them out. It flows very nicely, which I like. I'm going to sit him inside that area there. You can probably sit him wherever. I don't know who would see him at this point, but there is a Clockwork Soldier down there, so I don't know. I didn't want to take any chances. Those things tick me off. So we're going to be going up on top of this, I don't know, it looks like a garden conservatory looking place, which I guess we're in the garden, so maybe that is what this round dome thing is. But you can walk along the edge here. And this is actually going to be where we're going to go at the end of the level. If you see over to the left there, right down there is the safe that we're going to be trying to get into. But we can't get into it yet because we need to have a key. And we can't get that key until we take care of the Duke. And so we're going to be headed back there later. But for right now, we can climb up these rocks and get onto the roof up here. Well, it's not really the roof, it's the top level. Or not quite the top level, but the level right underneath the top level. It's the ultimate level. It's the right below the penthouse level. And so there are a few guards patrolling around in here. You just want to be careful. And the Duke can spawn in a couple of places, guys. He can spawn right here, right in front of these paints that I'm looking at. And that's why I was kind of looking around to make sure if he was there, because he could be sitting right here where that guard is. But he wasn't this time. And so if he is there, then there will be 2 guards on either side of the room that you will probably need to use a sleep dart to take out. And then he will move back into a little room to the right. And that's where he will be. So if he's there, then that's kind of how to deal with him. If he is not there, then you will need to take out that guard and take out this maid before she gets alerted. That was a little bit hairy, but we did okay. Painting there. And so I have only seen the Duke spawn in 3 places. One is the place where I just showed you. The second is this room right here that I'm going to be kind of tiptoeing around. And so this is the second place where he can be, and this is where he is in this playthrough. And then the third spot is upstairs in his room. And so this is kind of his office, I guess. And then his room, his bedroom, is upstairs. And so I didn't want to open the door there because the guards will come and look for you if you keep the doors open and stuff. And so the trick here is you need to find 2 Dukes. One of them is going to be the real Duke, and the other one is going to be his body double. And so here's the part where making saves is good, because if you accidentally pick the wrong one, then you can just reload your save. And go and talk to the other one, but you're going to be needing to go and talk to the body double and then go knock out the real Duke and bring him to the bedroom. So a way that you can tell which one is the real Duke is to look at his belt and see if he's carrying a key. And if he is, then that should be the real guy. And if not, then it's probably the body double. Another thing that you look for is him smoking. So I think the key thing isn't a surefire way of telling. I don't know. And people can let me know in the comments here. We need to sleep dart this guard because she just doesn't turn around. But I think the body double might have a key too. And so I don't know that that's a 100% effective way of telling which one is which. And so the smoking thing is the way that you can definitely tell. So if you watch them for a little while and the Duke or supposed Duke doesn't like make some excuse to be alone and then go off and smoke a cigar, then that is not the double. The double will at some point, ask to be left alone, and then he will pull out a cigar and start smoking. And so that is kind of the sure way of telling who is who. And so, I don't know. I'm living dangerously right now because I wanted to be able to see what's on this guy's belt and watch him for a little bit. And sometimes it won't like initiate their sequence of I need to go smoke my cigar until you get in the room with them or you get kind of close to them. And so you'll see that he's going through some dialogue here, but he's basically just pacing around this office. And there's no cigar, he's not smoking. And, I look at his belt and he does have the key. And so I just watched him for a little bit. But like I said, if you guys, make a save and go and talk to one of them, and if it's the real Duke, he'll play along with your assumption that he's the body double and then go and try to kill you, call the guards and stuff. And the dialogue won't be exactly the same. So then you'll know that, hey, that's the Duke and not the body double, and you can go talk to the other one. So I think there's a guard here when I come back through who wasn't there before, and I think that he came out of the Duke's office to sit right there, so be careful of this guy. He either came from downstairs or he came out of the Duke's office, and I think he came out of the Duke's office, and it wasn't letting me knock him out because of whatever, and so I was upset that it wasn't letting me do that, but I ended up having to use a sleep dart on him, which annoyed me because it's finicky. Sometimes it will let you knock them out when you're not on the same level as them, and sometimes it will let you do it and sometimes it won't, and it's annoying that it's not more consistent with that. But there you go. This is why we have sleep darts for this level. And so the other Duke is going to be upstairs here. And I think one of them always spawns up here, because this is where it kind of directs you to go. But that could be wrong. I think one of those 3 locations they always spawn in, but I cannot tell you that 100% for sure, because I haven't played through the game a bajillion times. So in the 3 times that I played through, they always spawned in one of those 3 locations. And so the Duke will be up there. If he's in this location, he'll be up there like at a table. And he's got one guard sitting there beside him. And what you want to do is wait for that guard to patrol down the stairs, and then you can come up around here. You can sleep dart him. That's a little risky though, because sometimes the Duke will see you sleep dart him and get alerted, so you don't want that to happen. So if you just wait, he will patrol downstairs and you can come and talk to the Duke. So you want to pay attention to what he's saying here, and make sure that your guy says the same thing. Because if the one that you're talking to doesn't say this exactly, then it's not the body double. And so you can tell, I think, pretty early on in the conversation whether it's the real guy or whether it's the body double. And if it is the real Duke, then you're going to need to reload. But like I said, if you follow the one around for a little bit and he is not smoking a cigar ever, then that is probably the real Duke. So I really liked this alternate method of taking the Duke out. I thought it was very kind of poetic justice. It was nice. sending the one away to the mental institution and having him be replaced was just, I don't know, it was pretty fantastic. I liked all of the alternate means of disposing of people. I think that was a real strength of the original game, and I think that this game was just as strong with those alternate methods of taking out your high value targets. So very, very cool. So now we've talked to him, and we are going to go and knock out the other Duke. And so now here is another thing. You don't want to knock out the Duke first. You want to talk to the body double first. If you go ahead and knock out the Duke, then it's not going to give you the option to talk to the body double. So that's pretty important. Make sure that you do that, because, and that's why I didn't go ahead and knock out the one when I was down there, because I was like, okay, I've watched this guy. I'm pretty sure he's the real Duke, but I didn't go ahead and knock him out, because if I had done that, then it would not give me the option to talk to the body double anymore. And so we did not want that to happen. And so now that we have talked to him, there's another guard who has made his way up here. So just be careful when you're going through these areas, because people will move around and patrol around and be in different spots. And so it's like, you weren't there. You're not where I left you. And if you kind of hide the bodies where I have hidden them, then they should not get seen. Because you saw that guy was kind of looking directly at the place where the one guard's body was, but he wasn't seeing it because it was behind a wall. So, a wall that he could clearly see over, but couldn't for whatever reason. So, now it's easy though. You see he's got the key on his back belt. So I don't know. You guys can let me know if that key is a clear indicator or not. I'm not sure. Because I don't know, I played through this a few times. I played through this mission actually more than 3 times because it was, I thought, kind of difficult in terms of just pathing. And so I wanted to give you a good path. But I want to say that at one point I saw a Duke with a key, and it was the body double and not the real guy. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. That could have also been like a bug or something. I don't know. But once you get him, you put him on the bed there, and it will take you to a cutscene, and you get to watch the gloriousness that is this taking out of the Duke here. And then after our cutscene is over, we will continue on with the rest of the level. So it moves you up here while the cutscene is playing. That's automatic. And so you'll start from here. And now all we have left to do is go and open the safe. So if you head out onto this balcony here, we can get back pretty quickly and easily to the place where we were near the beginning of this whole palace section. We're just gonna hop down the rocks here, and you'll see we are exactly in the same place where we were before. And now here, make a safety save just in case you need it, because you are gonna need to drop down and take out a whale oil canister pretty quickly to disable this pylon that's right in front of us. The canister is like on the wall right behind where we're dropping down. So I turn around, then I drop, and then I quickly remove that. Because if you don't do that, then that pylon can get you, and it's no good. So we have now opened the safe. And now there's a clockwork soldier that is patrolling around down here. So you want to be careful. You're not super 100% safe in this area. So you just want to look out for that to make sure that you're not going to get seen before you head into your next little cutscene down here. So I don't see it, and so I'm going to drop down. You can go down the stairs. There are stairs, but there it is. So you just want to make sure that you put some cover between yourself and that thing, and then wait until it moves forward a little bit, and then you can go and have some more story exposition, which I will trim out. And then once you're done with that, you want to still be careful because there's still clockwork soldier patrolling about, but it should be around the other side. In fact, I'm not sure where it went, which is scary, but just be on the lookout for it. Here I am looting all the stuff because I am just a compulsive looter and I can't help myself. That gazelle statue is a collectible for one of the ship the display things on your ship. And also related to Megan Foster's little backstory that you can find out about if you read all the documents and stuff. But not necessary to pick up on this run, but I did anyway. So here we go. Be careful of that soldier over there, and come down here. And now you are pretty much home free to the end of the mission. You just want to climb around down here on these rocks, go for a little bit of a swim, because she will meet you on a little outcropping right in front of us over here. So she is on her way. And we'll have finished this level. So that is mission 8 done pretty cleanly. And so we only have one more to go, guys. And I would say there's a couple of tricky things in the last level, but it shouldn't be any worse, really, than anything you've already done. So if you've made it this far, then you are in really, really good shape for finishing this game the way that we intended to. So just make sure that you end up with your 2 boxes checked, as always, on your final screen. You want to have that ghostly and merciful box checked, as we will. And then we will continue on to mission 9. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that it was helpful, and I will see you in the last mission of the game.